Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is just going to be a little bit of a chatting with Alana. I was ready to update you guys on some things that I've been working on or that I've been doing or how, life. So I thought I would jump on here and have a little bit of a chatting with Alana with you guys. So if you guys want to get yourself something to drink or get you something to snack on and get your crochet project together, and just sit down and listen to me yap for a little bit. I do have a little list of things that I would like. Basically, all this is me in the middle of doing something else, and I would say, "Oh, I want to talk about this on Chatting with Alana." So I'd stop and I'd jot down a little list. So I have a few things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So one of them is I had ordered this little book off Amazon. I didn't need it. I do not need this at all, but I think it's kind of interesting. I'd like to check it out. So I ordered this and I wanted to show you guys. Show you what it was. And this is Crochet Amigurumi doll. Like I said, it's off of Amazon. I'll link it in the description box below. But it says the Amigurumi doll pattern books include types of crochet, language of crochet, crochet materials, suggestions and tricks, unique and cute doll designs, detailed step-by-step instructions, and clearly written patterns, illustrated with pictures. So when I read that, I was like, what is language of crochet? What does that mean? Types of crochet, and suggestions and tricks, and I thought, well, what does that mean? So finally, this book came in, and I flipped through this, and I found some interesting things that I thought I wanted to share with you guys. So one of them, my fingers are like really cold and dry, and they're not working. Has the introduction. Crochet is a delightful craft that nourishes the soul, warms the heart, and engages the hands. It's also a splendid way to exercise the mind. Crochet history and meaning. I don't want to read that because I don't want to get in any sort of a copyright trouble. But it has types of crochet, granny squares, filet crochet, Tunisian crochet, broomstick lace, amigurumi, Irish crochet. Known for its intricate lacework, Irish crochet involves creating motifs that are later joined to form larger pieces, often used for shawls, collars, and accessories. Then you have hairpin lace. Then you have tapestry crochet, or tapestry, Bavarian, overlay, and freeform crochet. And then whenever it says language of crochet, it's the abbreviations. Chain, slip stitch, single crochet, CH chain, SLST slip stitch, SC single crochet. But and then it goes through the materials, so like hook, yarn, stitch markers, scissors, yada yada, and then teaches you how to crochet if you do not. And then suggestions and tricks. This is kind of interesting. So it shows I'll show you guys this. So it shows a little bit of yarn in like a water bottle or something coming out the top. And then it has a little tub with one of those, I call those alligator clips. Tried that, pain in the butt, no point in even doing it. Sorry. That drove me nuts. Here's a great crochet hack for softening cheap, scratchy yarn. Rinse in cold water, shampoo, rinse twice. Saturate entire piece with hair conditioner. Let it soak for about an hour. Rinse thoroughly. Wash on the lightest cycle. Put it in the dryer. Use a dryer sheet. Dry it until it's slightly damp. Take it out and lay it flat. I mean, some of these are kind of a given. Then it shows you how to wind, like make a yarn cake on a toilet paper roll. How to make a slip knot. This is great for beginners, even kids. What? Who in the world makes a slip knot like this? What in the heck is this? I have never made a slip knot that complicated in my entire life. It says, how to make a slip knot. This is great for beginners, even kids. What? Like, that has me just like, okay. Anyway, it has a whole bunch of other foldable sewing scissors are great for snipping ends and won't snag anything in your bag. I mean, just things like that. And unfortunately, all of the pictures in the book are black and white or gray and white, which, I mean, that's not a big deal to me, but I can see how some people would, you know, not like that. But each of these dolls are in the book with one or two extra that aren't on, and they're not on the bag. One or two extra that aren't on the cover. I have not made anything out of here. I honestly just got this today. But I find it funny. So this pattern is Maris doll. But I find it funny because, so if I just flip through like this, I'm going to go to the next doll pattern. And then here's Cute Girl in Yellow Dress, which is actually a whole complete, like it gives all of the pattern again. So it's not the same body throughout the book and they're just changing a few little things. It's actually a whole different pattern. And then it has another girl. This one's not on the cover. This is called Little Gingerbread Girl. I love her little freckles by her eyes. And then Princess Belle doll, not to be confused with a very common Princess Belle from a certain Disney. So it has her. And then see the one in the background? That looks an awful lot like a Snow White. And then Little Red Riding Hood. Where is it at? Oh, Momo doll. I thought she's cute. I like her hair. So then we have another Princess Belle doll. So we have doll Monica. Hold on just a second. Getting to the end. It's getting kind of hard to flip through these pages. Then we have a Jasmine, not to be confused with the Jasmine of a certain Disney cartoon. I mean, she looks similar. And I think that might be the end. The last one, I mean. And I don't know why she has antlers. But I mean, like, you can see here, her hair is the same as Jasmine on Disney. On Aladdin. Her clothes and her outfit was similar to a Disney. Anyway, I saw that and I was like, well, that's a little weird, but all right. So anyway, it was a cute little book. I liked it. As far as a pattern in it, I have not made anything. I've got too much on my plate right now that I need to work on. That's a perfect segue leading me into my next thing I wanted to show you guys. So I told you guys that I have been working on this canopy bed that I had bought off of, what was that? I bought that off of, I don't know, Etsy or Facebook Marketplace. And the listing was that it was halfway completed, that a woman and her mom were working on it. And they had so much of this part done, so much of this part done, and she wanted to sell it and give it to someone, or not give it, but, you know, send it to someone who could finish it. And I was like, I will, because I thought it was, you know, it's beautiful. So she sent all of the supplies that she has left. She sent the pattern, and so I opened everything and, you know, found where everything went, and how do I explain this? Some parts I noticed when I got to a certain part that were too little, like the tension was too tight, so I pulled it out and redid it all again with my tension to make it fit. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update because I said that I wasn't going to do any other me projects until I get this thing done, because I'm sick of seeing it not done, seeing it, you know, sit in the corner, and it's just been nagging at me to get this thing done. So I have gotten several parts done on it, and I'm on a part now that is taking forever to get through. And I'm forcing myself to do it, which basically, oh well, I'll show you in just a minute. So let me grab the bed and I'll show you how far I've gotten. Without knocking everything over. So, this is what I have done so far. So here's, and a tail. Uh-oh, I forgot to take care of that. Anyway, so here's the base of the bed. There's actually going to be a piece of foam that goes on this with a, like a double crochet, just a fitted sheet that goes over the piece of foam. That goes on this, and then I need to make the 2 pillows and then like a granny square blanket for the top of it. Anyways, that's what I don't have done. This is what I've gotten done. And I finished this whole little top. So it was either the canopy part or this bedspread part was what I pulled apart and redid myself with my tension, because it wouldn't fit. It either wouldn't fit on the base of the bed or wouldn't fit on the canopy part. But these are wooden, they're dowel rods, and they're cut off, and then she made the pieces that go around it, and she did all that, and then the whole bed frame was done. So like this is covered in felt, but if you can see, the bottom is that plastic mesh. And she had this base done, and I finished this, and she had this part done. She had the rods done, and then she made the top canopy piece, if you can see that. And then I made this piece to go on top of it, or remade it, whichever. So yeah, what I have left are the 2 pillows, the piece that goes over the foam, so like the fitted sheet part, and yeah, the final blanket. And then I'm going to make an outfit to go on the Barbie for the bed. So this is how far it is, and I still have so much left to do. I feel like I am really whitewashed, and I can't figure out what's happening. My phone did a really big update the other day. That seems like it's a little bit better. My glasses are all... something is off, and it feels really weird, and I cannot figure out what it is. Anyway, my phone did a big update the other day, and everything has changed on the camera, and now I cannot figure things out or where I had it, and it's annoying. But so there's that, and I've been working really hard on that, and I've been working hard on upcoming tutorials. which the very next tutorial you're going to see is a matching shawl and hat set made with Premier Puzzle yarn. It's the 5-weight yarn. And a 6.5mm hook for the shawl, and then like a 6mm hook for the hat. It's pretty cute. I like it. I tell you in the tutorial that the border of the shawl is literally just double crochets. It's on my mannequin in the other room, or I'd go grab it and show you guys. But it's a simple double crochet border, 3 rows of double crochet. And the reason I did that is because I wanted the focus of the yarn to be one on the somewhat elegant, not real elegant, but I mean, I don't know what other word I want to say. I'm trying to say like the fancy stitch work, but it's not that fancy. It's just a little fancy. And then the color work in that yarn to be the focus of the shawl. So that's why the border is just a simple, you know, double crochet. It's nothing fancy. And then the hat matches the stitch tutorial. And I haven't filmed the hat yet, but I have 2 patterns for the hat. And I don't know whether I should just go ahead and show you both in the tutorial. So technically in one tutorial, you are getting the pattern for the shawl, the hat that matches the shawl, and then another hat because it's a little holy. So I thought maybe some people wouldn't like the holy, so I can show you how to do it where it's not holy, but I don't know. I haven't made my mind up that far out. Man, this week and last week has been, I don't know how to explain it. It's been rough on all accounts. I'll say that, like with work, home, relationship, you know, just this and that. And then just, you guys ever have those days where you just feel like you cannot do anything right, nothing right? And it's not, I don't know how to explain it, because I don't want to give away too much without trying to say what I'm trying to explain. I don't want to tell everything, you know, in my personal life, but it's just, I had a few days like that last week where it's just like I'm going through the day trying to do something, and everything I'm trying to do, work related, relationship, house wise, I cannot do it right. I can't do. And it's not like physically do something. It's like emotionally, mentally do something right. I can't do it. And then I just want to stop and just stand there and scream, or stand there and just bawl and be like, for Pete's sake. I mean, I'm past it. It's fine now. Everything is fine now. But just like the last week, I was going emotional, mentally, you know, just going down. And I'm like, but now we're heading up. Things are a lot better. I was getting really overwhelmed with work too, because new things are happening, which on my end turns into an entire change. Beginning 2024, everything with my work is changing. And that is a huge stress and a huge pressure on me. That's just like, oh man. And then yeah, and like I said, everything was just downhill. But like I said, it's all uphill now, so everything is great. I am super happy. I'm getting everything worked out with work, so that makes me happy. And I want to get off this topic. I don't want to talk. So moving on, I want to mark off what I've talked about. I told you guys about the book of changes with work, this, and this. So, I guess this isn't really making it much more on a positive note. It is, and then it isn't. So, if you guys remember, a couple months ago, I'm not exactly sure when it was, I had mentioned to you guys that I wanted to start cooking with Alana again. And I wanted to show you guys more of my weight loss foods, what I eat. I've lost 60 pounds on a diet and minimal exercise. And because I am stationary all the time. I'm stationary at work. I'm stationary, you know, after I get off work, I clean house, I do dishes, laundry, whatnot. And then I'm back to sitting on my butt, crocheting, or watch my husband and I watching our shows. Anyway, so I wanted to get on, you know, start cooking with Alana again and showing you guys little tips and tricks that I use for my meals to lose weight. And I decided not to do that. And the reason being was because a lot of the foods I eat. Okay, so cooking with Alana, I have 3 channels. I have this channel, Cooking with Alana, and then Gaming with Alana, which Gaming with Alana is new. A blast. I love that channel. That is my favorite thing to do, is to play and film video games for you guys. And I can get into that later. But anyway, and the reason I do that is because I want to give you guys something different to watch while you're crocheting or listen to while you're crocheting, because I do that with Fiber Spider. If you guys know Fiber Spider, he has Fiber Spider games, and I love the video games because it tells such a story, and Fiber is playing the story, and then I can crochet and watch and listen at the same time. And some of those videos are an hour long. I mean, that's a whole hour, you know, to watch and while I'm crocheting. But anyway, back to I'm getting way off topic. Back to where I was. So those are my 3 channels, right? You guys are absolutely amazing on this channel. You guys leave me comments that make me smile, that just bring a tear to my eye. The comments you guys leave, or the emails you guys will email me, or the cards I get. And same with Gaming with Alana. Granted, I only have like 39 subscribers, I think. And I have one or two. One of them I know right off the top of my head that comments on every one of my videos, and she makes me smile reading those comments. I love reading her comments. And then there's Cooking with Alana. And those comments are the meanest, most disrespectful comments I have ever read. And it just, and I know, I've heard it a million times. I've even said it to other YouTubers when people leave nasty comments, you know, don't pay attention to those, don't, you know, they're just jealous, or you know, there's just a person stuck behind a computer monitor with a keyboard in front of them. Yeah, but it still hurts. It's still hard to forget, and it's still hard to get past. Like, I can think right off the top of my head, someone told me on one of my cooking videos how horrible I was and how I needed to work on my camera skills, and I was just like, okay. Anyway, one of the hardest things with those comments is not getting on there and defending myself. Because a woman got on there one time and she was like, her words, not mine, "My God, that's so much butter. You are such a mess in the kitchen. Mine is better," or something to that effect. And I wanted to get on there so bad and be like, you know what? Thank you for watching my video. I am so glad God blessed you with the ability to be able to cook so amazingly in the kitchen. It's too bad he didn't teach you some humility. You know what I mean? I want to be so mean and spiteful on there, and that's not me. That is not me at all. I am not that person, ever. I am the sweetest, nicest thing. Like, I couldn't even hurt a fly. Well, I mean, obviously I can, because those drive me nuts, but I am so nice. And the one time someone comments something like that, I just think to myself, you lost out on a really good friend, because if you just would have been nice. You know how many times people get on my Etsy and they will be the sweetest person and tell me, "Hey, I am having the hardest time understanding this pattern," or, "Hey, I am having the hardest time downloading this pattern," because a lot of people can't get the patterns because for some reason Etsy will not let people download the downloadable link on a phone. I don't know. So, and I am so nice. And I have no problem at all getting on there and being like, hey, I will be more than happy to show you how to work this. I will be more than happy to show you how to get this download. I will email you the download. And you know what? Because this is such a pain in the butt, and I know you are probably frustrated, here's a free pattern. Or, you know, I will get on there and tell someone that I'm helping with the pattern that's not understanding, you know, this one may be a little tougher. I am going to help you get through it step by step, and plus I'm going to give you something nice, you know, an easier pattern, just because, hey, I could have written this a little bit better. I'm sorry it was a little rough on you. I do that all the time for people. And then I'll have someone get on there and just be so mean about not being able to download their pattern to where they make it my fault. And I'm just like, guess you should have been a little nicer. Anyway, point of me getting off on that rant is because, okay, so that's why I didn't start back up with Cooking with Alana. I didn't want to get into it, and then my friend Gail and I talked, and my friend Johnny and my husband, and we all talked, because I let my family know this is going to be more than just me effort. You know, if you guys want to help, and they're more than happy, they're on board. I don't tell them about the comments. None of them know about the comments on there. But they agreed to help. And then I also decided that, so I don't even remember if I said this, that I changed my mind. I decided we're going to pick up Cooking with Alana. I am going to show you guys, probably very rarely, the things I eat on my weight loss plan, my journey, that I do myself. It's for me. I didn't pick it up from anyone else. This is what I eat. But the reason it's not going to be a lot of what I do for my diet is because of how, choosing my words here, how crappy people are in the comments about the food. And I don't want to hear someone belittle me because, hey, I am going to show you that one thing I eat for lunch on my diet is low-fat cottage cheese with salt and pepper and a little bit of this sauce I put on it because it's 0 calorie and 0 carb, and it's low calorie cottage cheese, which I would not do a tutorial for that. I literally did not make anything, but that's just an example. That's why it's not going to be just my diet food, because Jalen, Emma, and Matt, they don't eat, everything I do. They eat more higher calorie, higher carb because they're active and I'm not. So, I ask, will you guys help me? And it will cook, your guys' kind of food and occasionally throw in my kind of food. And you'll go from there. And they agreed. And they are on board with me. So I want to formally say that Cooking with Alana is coming back probably 2024. So next month. Anyway, after that long rant, it's so aggravating because... I shouldn't say aggravating. It is. It's aggravating to read the comments and then that comment turn me into somebody that I'm not. So I think one thing I'm going to do is just not read the comments. So for those of you watching, unless it's a comment that catches my attention, I'm not going to read it because 90% of them are negative and just people being a-holes that need poked in the eye. I tell my family that all the time whenever we pester each other. Like Jalen, that girl will poke my buttons, and in our house we pester each other. We do it all the time, but she'll get and just dig at me. And finally I'll turn and I'll look at her and I'm like, Jalen, if you don't leave me alone, I hope you stub your toe running away from me or something like that. Anyway. Okay, so something else I wanted to tell you guys about. Another thing with my weight loss. Since I started this, I've lost 60 pounds. I am totally ashamed to say, well, I don't even know if I want to say it because it makes me feel horrible. When I am 5'1", super short. I am very short. Everyone is taller than me. Jalen and Emerald are like a hair taller than me. I am 5'1". When I started this weight loss, I weighed 210 pounds. That is so embarrassing to say. I did. I weighed 210 pounds. And I currently weigh 150 pounds. So I have lost 60 pounds. And like I said, hardly any, well, I shouldn't even say hardly, no exercise at all. I dieted, hardcore dieting. There are times where, I have learned some of the craziest little tricks to help myself when it came to struggling, fighting off an urge to pick up the bag of popcorn my daughter is sitting next to me eating. I've learned a bunch of little tricks, and one of those that I've learned is aspartame is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Never. Okay, so I shouldn't say never. If you are eating or drinking anything that has aspartame in it, oh man, cut it back to at least one a day. Do not eat more or drink more than one a day of anything that has aspartame in it. That is horrible. But another thing that I had, a little trick I learned, so the hardest for me, one of my rules is I do not eat after 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock in the evening, it's done. And I fight from about 8 o'clock to about 10 o'clock. Yeah, about 10 o'clock. I am fighting for something sweet because I want, just something sweet. And it is so hard for me. Well, I have learned 2 little tricks that I do. So Walmart sells, and I know a lot of you are going to think this is insane, but it works for me. Walmart sells sugar-free cough drops. Now, yes, they're cough drops. And they're sugar-free. And I know there's sugar-free hard candies out there, but they're aspartame. And I do not want to eat that because that put me in the hospital last time because too much aspartame. That all I'm going to say is that it got to where I was passing blood, bad, nonstop, all the time. And then my doctor and I finally figured out it was too much aspartame. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it because it's disgusting. And I don't think you guys want to hear it. Anyway, but these sugar-free cough drops are sucralose, which is nowhere near as bad as aspartame. And they're like 4 calories a cough drop. Well, I'm the type of person, if I'm sucking on a hard piece of candy, I do not chew it until it is like thin as paper, and then I'll chew it. So I can have this cough drop in my mouth for 10 minutes. Okay, so there's something in your mouth. Granted, it's not that sweet because it's a cough drop, but it's something in your mouth. And 2, it takes away that food craving because that strong menthol, the mentholated, taste or feeling that the cough drop takes away the craving for something sweet. So I do that. And then Walmart also sells those little those little packets of powder that you put in a bottled water to drink. Some of them have aspartame, so be careful. But I know they have one that's Hawaiian Punch. It's a box. I think it's $5, and it comes with 36? How many does that? I don't remember, but it's a box, and it comes with 36 little packages of the powder. And I take, I have my cups. I have one water bottle that I keep that, I've drank all the water out of it, but I use that to put a little bit of water, and then I put my little packet in there, and then I shake it up, fill it up with water, and then I dump it into my cup, and then I have a full cup of a 0 sugar, 0 calories sweet drink that's not aspartame, and I'll sip on that throughout the evening. So if I'm oh, I really want to have a piece of chocolate that my husband's chewing on next to me, I'll grab my drink and just a little sip. So it and the reason it's little sips is so it stretches out through that, you know, that time frame that I'm just like, I want something sweet. There's that. And then, so then I have, like, there's a time in the day to where it's like, I'm bored. Not bored. It's like, I'm working. My mind is focused on work, but I'm like, I want to eat something. So that's another time where, a cough drop, well, those cough drops. But if not, what I do is I buy low fat, low calorie, low carb, oh, for heaven. Oh, sour cream. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Sour cream. And then I get is it Hidden Valley Ranch? The dip packet. So for those of you that did not know, because I did not know this until recently, there is a difference in those powder packs between the ranch dressing mix and the ranch dressing dip mix. For the longest time, I kept buying the ranch dressing powder, putting it in sour cream, and I'm like, why does this not taste like everybody else's? Why does this not taste right? What am I doing wrong? And finally, our girls had a volleyball thing, and Matt and I were like, hey, let's grill out at this. It was a tournament. Let's grill out this tournament and then ask the other junior parents if they would bring food, like side dishes. Because my husband loves to cook. And he's like, all right, well, one of the parents brought vegetables and dip. And I ate that dip, and I walked up to her, and I was like, I feel like this is going to be the dumbest question, but why can I not make my dip taste like yours? She's like, well, what are you using? And I'm like, sour cream in the ranch packet. And she's like, well, what's the packet? I'm like, the ranch dressing packet. And I kept doing this, like, it's an envelope with the powder. And she's like, it's ranch dressing? I was like, yeah. And she goes, there's a difference between dip and dressing. And I remember looking at her being like I had an epiphany, like, are you kidding me? But anyway, so there's a difference in the ranch dressing and the ranch dip. But I would get that dip, or the sour cream, low-fat sour cream, and then the dip, and then, mix that together. And then I'd eat broccoli with it, or celery. And that would take care of that urge, right? Okay, I'm getting off track. Anyway, that's just two little things that, little tips that I do. But anyway, so I'm stuck at 150. I want to go to 140, and I want to maintain from 140 to 150, just like in there, bounce back and forth. Like, let's say I kind of do bad and not eat healthy like I try to do to, lose weight, and I go from 140 to 145, and I'm like, okay, yep, we need to get back on track. So then I've got that whole 5 pounds, to back to 140, but still over here if it happens to, holy cow, I messed up. Like holidays, right? I cannot get past 150. I have tried and tried, and the one thing that I have not tried is exercise. I don't want to exercise, but I've got to do something. So my daughter and I have decided to start walking a mile every night, every evening, which is just where we live. It's a long block. If you walk that 3 times, that's a mile. And we walk and talk and, chit chat, and I listen to YouTube on my headphones. Like, I'll have one in and one out so we can still talk and whatnot. But I got to thinking, whenever we're doing these walks, I got to thinking how cool / hard would it be to crochet and walk at the same time. And I'm thinking, okay, I think I could do this. So I sat and I thought, all right, what are the challenges I would have with walking and crocheting at the same time? One, I obviously can't keep my face on my hands while I'm walking, so it needs to be a pattern that I can do without having to always watch what I'm doing. So that's granny square. It's the easiest thing I can do, that I don't have to continually look at my eyes on my hands. I can work a few double crochet without looking, right? So I thought, okay, granny square. That's simple enough. And how can I turn it into a tutorial? So everybody knows how to do a granny square, or if you don't, I mean, there's millions of YouTube or tutorials on YouTube that people have out. So I think what I would do would be to focus the attention of the granny square afghan on a border. So not do a tutorial about how I made the squares, but do a tutorial on how I sewed the squares together, and then do a tutorial on, you know, an elaborate border on the blanket. So there's, you know, I figured out what stitch, and I figured out how I could make it from how I can make it content for you guys. So that would be the border. And then the next thing I thought of, or, you know, I thought what the complication would be how to have my yarn on me and walking at the same time. Well, I have a crossbody bag. You guys are going to laugh, but this is two things I got to tell you, right? So I don't ball up my yarn while I'm crocheting. I actually, if I know that I'm going to use an entire skein of a ball, or an entire, you know, skein, what I do is I pull that entire thing out and I put it in, well, here you go. I put it in a tote like this, and I always have this tote, and then, like, for instance, this is the afghan I'm working on, so all I have to do is sit here and I can work and work and work and not have to stop and pull out yarn. Work and work and work, pull out yarn. I don't have to do that because it's all pulled out and it stays nice and neat in my little tote. So I thought, okay, how can I do that with walking? So this is what I came up with. I took a chopstick and a gallon Ziploc bag, or, well, Walmart brand, great value Ziploc bag, and I hot glued it. I snapped the chopstick off at the top and hot glued it onto the bag. So what I'm going to do is fill this with my yarn, and then I put it in my crossbody bag so it sits, if I can get this, it sits right here while I'm walking, and then, you know, it's in my crossbody bag, and then as I'm crocheting, it's just coming right out of the bag, no problem, because it's open. So I got that figured out. And then the next thing I thought of is, well, in the winter, it's dark at like 4:30 here. Well, 4:45, I think. How can I see? Because a lot of the street I walk is black or dark. So, or we walk is dark. So I found a around the neck light, and it's got, let me just go get it to show you guys. Hold on just a second. Okay. So this is the around the neck light that I bought. It's probably going to be too bright, and I don't want to put it in your guys' face. But the little lights on the end move. So if I turn it on, yeah, that's really bright, and angle it more towards my chest, I can still see, and then, you know, I'm not blinding somebody that's coming. And there's a way to, like, get it to... I don't know if you can even tell, but it didn't dim it, but it zoomed the focus of the light in. Anyway, I don't know if that's going to work or not. It's rechargeable, I mean, so it's no battery. And even if it doesn't work while I'm walking, I mean, I can still use it at home, like when my husband's asleep and I'm sitting on the couch next to him. Just put this around my neck while I'm crocheting. So not a complete waste of money, but if it doesn't work, like, I wish I could turn on one side and not the other. Yeah, like, it, I don't know. I'll have to test it out. But, so then there's that. And then the only other thing that I've thought about that I'm not 100% sure how I can get around this is my hands when I'm walking when it's cold. Because I always want to have gloves on. Well, can't crochet with gloves on. So I've thought about fingerless gloves. I don't know. I mean, what's the point when your fingers are still cold? So I've got some of the logistics worked out. There's still a few things that I need to figure out. I haven't had a chance to do it yet because I haven't walked the last 2 nights because we haven't gotten home until late. Oh, excuse me, until late. So by the time I got home, I'm like, I'm just tired. But anyway, so that is something that I'm working on is, oh, excuse me, good grief. I'm going to call it like my walking Afghan, and I'm going to keep you guys updated how it's going and how it's turning out. But like I said, I've got a few of the little logistics working out that I need to figure out. Let's see. I have 2 more things on my list I want to talk to you about, and I know it's already at 45 minutes, so just hang with me. I have to tell you guys, holy cow. So I have amazing health insurance through the hospital I work for, and that's health, eye, and dental. So, with my dental insurance, you have to use it, right? So I go to the dentist every 6 months for cleaning, and the last appointment I went to, they were like, hey, you've got this spot between these teeth. And since I quit smoking, I have been cigarette free, straight up cold turkey for almost 3 years. Or 4. 3? Anyway, I highly recommend, if you are thinking about quitting smoking, do not do it cold turkey. Oh, your body will go nuts. Taper off slowly. Do it smart. Don't do cold turkey. It's horrible for your body. Anyway, after I quit smoking, my teeth went bad. And I had a spot that they would tell me about that I needed to watch. Well, I had been, and I've been taking care of it. Well, this last appointment, they're like, oh, this spot's grown just a little in 3 years, so we still want to watch it. But there's this other spot that you haven't been taken care of as good, and now it needs a filling. And I was like, why are you just not telling me? How do I not know about 2 spots? I only knew about 1. You guys only told me that I needed to keep an eye out on 1. Where the heck did this other one come from? And, anyway, they were like, I'm trying to think of how the reason they wanted me to watch these was because it's at a spot that it's hard for them to get to, and if it got to where it needed a filling, if they even wanted to do a filling because it's so hard to get to, if not, then it need a root canal. And they're like, that's why you need to keep an eye on that one. Well, me finding out about this other one, they're like, oh, if this filling doesn't work, it's going to need a root canal. And I'm like, how did you guys not tell me about 2? You only told me 1, like right here. And I know that's where it is. But they're like, oh, there's a spot back here. And then my husband, when I tell him about it, he's like, now do you see why I don't go to the dentist all the time? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, I'm not going to argue semantics with you. Just, this is what they had to do. So they had to drill, like, at the gum line, just, like, under the gum line a little bit, get in there and drill. So I went to the dentist thinking this was just going to be, like, a simple little filling where they drill it out a little bit, fill it with the stuff, hit it with the light, you're done, good to go, bye. No. This was horrible. They like put this band on my tooth and shoved my gum down and drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled and drilled and filled it with all this stuff. And he's like, it's going to be sore for a little while. I have not been able to eat for on this side of my mouth for I had to pop my foot for it's been a week. Yeah, a week today. It hurts so bad. It's so sensitive, to heat and cold. I was just like, this is so aggravating to me because I came here under the impression this was some little cavity that, needed to be filled and it was going to be okay. And it turned out to be this almost needing a root canal. So there was that. And that was aggravating. But it's slowly getting better. And it's not to where it's, debilitating. It's just aggravating. If I forget about it and take a drink of ice water, Oh my gosh. And even something hot, it's like, oh, it's like a zing, like a shock to your senses. But, yeah, so that has also, when at the beginning of this video, when I told you guys that I've been having just emotional down this last week, that was one thing. But anyway, so back to not sad stuff. I have been working on New Year's resolutions, just thinking of what I want to, how to better myself, or things that I'd like to change. And I have a whole little list wrote down. So I wanted to know if you guys have any New Year's resolutions you're working on. I think mine's same old, lose a little more weight until I finally reach my goal. And then save money. I want to be more interactive with you guys. I feel like I've slack on that really bad, and I don't intentionally do that, and I don't like doing it. Like, I would love to be able to reply to all the comments, and it's so hard to lose track of time doing this or doing that. And then another thing that I want to do better is keeping up with my written patterns on Etsy, because there are so many that I haven't done, because that takes so long and so much work. And I need to get caught up and stay caught up with my patterns. And I know why it took so long is because of my process. My time management process was not good, and I've changed that. So staying on track with that is one of my resolutions. I don't have my list in front of me, so I'm trying to think off the top of my head what I had. Obviously spend less, save more. I want to be more interactive with you guys on social media, so like Facebook, Instagram. Is Twitter X now? I don't know what it is. I just poke the app and, post my tutorial on there and go, because I don't know what the heck it is now. Man, I wish I could think of more of the resolutions I wrote down. My list is in the other room. I don't have it. But anyway, that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. And I can see we are almost at an hour, so I think I have another story that I wanted to tell you guys, but I don't know if I should just wait or go ahead and tell you. It's not, well, I'll just go ahead and tell you, it's not bad. It's not a big story, but I went for a walk the other night, and I went a different way than we usually do, and these two dogs, and I wouldn't say they were small like Chihuahua, they were like more beagle-sized dogs. Two of them came, and I was texting my daughter, Emma. I was texting her, and these two dogs came running out at me, and I know not to panic. I know not to freak, because if I freak, it's going to get worse. So I continued walking with my face in my phone, distracted, not looking at or giving these dogs any attention, so they would lose their focus on me and go on, or attention, whatever. Anyway, so I continue walking, and I make it around this corner, and I'm like, okay, they're gone. It's over. Well, no. Here they come again, and they are now biting my feet, like the back of my tennis shoes. Every step I took, when my foot was up, coming back, to take another step, when it was up, they were biting my feet, my tennis shoes. And I'm starting to cry and starting to panic, because it's getting harder to hold in, not to freak out, because I'm thinking one of these dogs are going to bite me in the back of my calf, or my heel. They're going to bite my flesh and not just my shoe. So I call my husband, and I'm starting to cry, and I'm like, these dogs are biting me, honey, and I don't know what to do. I can't get them off of me, or, because I know if I stop, I'm going to get bit. If I start yelling at him, I'm going to get bit. If I kick at him, I'm going to get bit, and I don't want to get bit. I don't want to get bit by a dog, right? Like I said, these weren't Chihuahuas. These were like beagle, a little bit bigger than beagle size. Well, one of them I think was an Australian Shepherd size dog. Well, one was a beagle looking dog. One was an Australian Shepherd dog. They were both about the size of a beagle. A little bit bigger, that size range is what I'm trying to say. I'm getting lost in my words. Anyway. So here he comes. Like, there's no question, there's no hesitation. I heard the door slam on my phone, and I heard it slam because I wasn't that far from the house anymore. And here he come. And he had here he come. And he just came stomping at these dogs, yelling at I have never heard my husband yell like this. I've never heard his voice get this loud. I've never heard this. And those dogs just tucked tail and took off. And I told him, I was like, I will show you where they came from. And it wasn't that far away. You know, it's just around the corner. So I'm walking with him to show him where these dogs are. And then I could hear the person in the house yelling whatever they're yelling. And this guy opens the door, sticks his head out, and yells at these dogs to get inside. Well, of course, they're not going inside. And here comes my husband to the door. And I'm like, honey, stop. Honey, stop. And he is just, get these dogs, and they bit my wife, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just standing there like, okay, stop. It's done. Let him get his dogs in. Let's go. And he gets the dogs inside, and my husband is just like, he is mad. But one, because I called him crying, I'm freaking out about these dogs, you know. And two, even the cops said, because we ended up calling the cops and reporting what had happened, so it's documented. Even the cops said, this town is the worst for dogs. And I said, I know. There's a dog across the street that pinned Matt against a chain link fence at the neighbor's house when he was talking at the neighbors because the dog got loose. You know, just this side of the little town I live in, the dogs are horrible. And it's not like a lovable little dog that gets loose, or not little, any dog is lovable, you know, and you can like pet them and love on them and then be like, okay, go home. No, these are dogs, they get loose, you're getting bit or getting attacked. If you had an outside cat, you better hope they're fast enough to get away from them because they are mean dogs. Anyway, so the guy gets the dogs inside. I finally get Matt, let's go home, and we call the cops. So the cops come and we report, hey, this is what happened. And the whole time, I am a dippy and didn't tell my husband that I wasn't getting flesh bit by the dogs. The dogs were biting my tennis shoes, my feet. But I didn't say that. I don't know. It was a whole ordeal because the cops are like, okay, you need to sit down so I can take pictures. And I'm like, take pictures of what? And then I was like, they were just biting my tennis shoes. And then they just look at me and I was like, oh my God. I am so sorry. I was crying because I was scared and I didn't know what to do. I wasn't crying because I was in pain. I was crying because I was scared. And they weren't biting my skin. They were biting my shoes. Why fail? Anyway, that's my story. I feel like my hair is getting all kinds of fluffy and driving me nuts. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I know this is a longer one. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss what's next. Leave me a comment down below. Let me tell me your thoughts. What are you guys working on while I'm chit-chatting? There's fuzz flying through by my face. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.